I, 34 am. A simple guy, really. I work a steady job in IT. Not flashy, but it pays the bills. Been married for 8 years. Thought my wife, 32F, and I had a solid thing going. No kids yet, but we were talking about it. Life was predictable, steady. And then one random Tuesday evening, it all crumbled. It started with a gut feeling. You know, that gnawing suspicion that something isn't right? The little voice you try to ignore because you don't want to sound paranoid? My wife had been acting off, more distant, always on her phone, working late more than usual. I told myself it was nothing. Work stress, maybe, but deep down I knew. Then came the moment that changed everything. I had planned to surprise her. She mentioned she had a long night at the office, some big project she was leading. I decided to swing by with her favorite takeout. Thought it'd be a sweet gesture. But when I got there, her car was gone. Weird. I called. No answer. I could have gone home and brushed it off. But something, instinct, fate, whatever, told me to check her location. We have each other's locations shared, mostly for safety. I opened the app, and my stomach dropped. She wasn't at work. She was at a hotel across town. At first, I thought, maybe there's a logical explanation. A work event? A client meeting? But at 9 p.m.? Alone? No. I drove there, hands gripping the wheel, so tight my knuckles turned white. I parked a little distance away, took a deep breath, and walked into the lobby. And there she was, with him, her co-worker, the one she always said was just a friend. They were laughing at the check-in counter. She was holding onto his arm. It was like a scene from a bad movie. My heart pounded in my ears as I took out my phone and snapped a few pictures. I wanted undeniable proof before I confronted her. My mind raced with how to handle this. Storm in and cause a scene? Drag her out and demand answers? I was angry, but I was also calculating. I had something better in mind. I turned around and walked out. Revenge needed planning, and I wanted it to be perfect. I drove home, my mind spinning. The rage was there, but beneath it was something colder, clarity. This wasn't just about me. It was about how she thought she could play me for a fool. How she could sneak around with a man I had met before, a man she had laughed about when I asked if anything was going on. I didn't confront her that night. No yelling. No accusations. I waited. I needed more than just photos. I needed a way to expose her in a way she couldn't weasel out of. And then, fate handed me the perfect opportunity. A week later, her company was hosting a big work party. A celebration for some project completion. She had been talking about it for weeks, saying she wanted me to come. It'll be fun, she had said. Everyone's bringing their spouses. Yeah, I bet. I played along, acted like the oblivious husband. I even helped her pick out a dress. And the whole time, I was gathering evidence. Call logs, messages, screenshots of her location history. Even an email exchange I managed to access from her laptop when she wasn't looking. They were bold, talking about their little getaways right under my nose. The night of the party, I dressed up like nothing was wrong. We arrived, and she introduced me to her colleagues with that fake happy wife smile. I shook hands, made small talk all while watching him. He was there. Of course, he was. Acting casual, giving me that fake polite nod. The arrogance. I let the night play out, pretending to drink more than I actually was. I wanted them comfortable off guard. I waited until enough people had gathered, her boss, her closest co-workers, even HR reps, before I made my move. I clinked my glass. Can I say a few words? She looked at me, slightly confused but still smiling. Babe, what are you doing? I smiled back. Just something I've been meaning to share. And then I let loose. I pulled out my phone and mirrored it to the large screen behind me. The photos, the texts, the hotel check-ins. I read some of the messages aloud, making sure to emphasize the worst parts. Gasps, whispers, a few people awkwardly stepping away from my wife and him. Her boss's face went pale, and my wife, she just froze, like a deer in headlights. No excuses, no fake tears, just sheer panic. She turned to me, voice shaking. Can we talk about this privately? I laughed, cold and sharp. Privately? Like how you privately checked into hotels with him. She grabbed my arm, but I pulled away. No, sweetheart. You wanted to keep it a secret. But secrets don't stay buried forever. Then came the best part, her boss. Turns out, Workplace affairs violate company policy. They take things like this seriously. HR pulled her aside immediately. The guy? He looked just as screwed. Apparently, he had a wife too, and she was there. And let's just say, she wasn't nearly as composed as I was. She slapped him. Hard. Right across the face. The entire room winced at the sound. Chaos. Absolute chaos. I downed the rest of my drink, turned to my wife, ex-wife, soon enough, and said, "You deserve everything coming to you." Then I walked out. The drive home was quiet. No music, no thoughts beyond the numb realization that my marriage was officially over. I wasn't sad. Not really. The anger had burned so hot that now all that remained was cold satisfaction. She didn't come home that night. I assumed she was dealing with the fallout at work, or maybe begging HR to reconsider. Didn't matter. The damage was done. The next morning, I got the confirmation I was waiting for. She was fired. Turns out her company had a strict no fraternization policy, and since she was in a senior role while he was beneath her, in more ways than one, it was considered misconduct. The guy? Suspended pending investigation. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. She showed up at our house that afternoon, looking disheveled, eyes red. "Please, can we talk?" I let her in, but I didn't offer her a seat. She didn't deserve comfort. She sniffled. "I lost my job. I have nothing." I raised an eyebrow. "Sounds like a you problem." She flinched. "I made a mistake." I scoffed. "A mistake?" "No, forgetting to pick up milk is a mistake. Sneaking around, lying to my face, humiliating me in front of people, that's a choice." She started crying harder. I just watched. No pity, no sympathy. Then came the real kicker. "I need you." She reached for my hand. "I don't have anywhere else to go." I pulled my hand away. "Go to him." Her face twisted in something between shame and desperation. "His wife kicked him out. He's staying with a friend. He doesn't want anything serious." I let that sink in. She wrecked our marriage, blew up her life, for a guy who didn't even want her beyond some hotel hookups. I almost laughed, but I wasn't done yet. "Good luck with that," I said, "because you're not staying here." Her head snapped up. "W what?" I gestured around. "This house, it's mine. Bought it before we got married. Your name isn't on the deed. You have no claim to it." Realization dawned on her face. But I don't have anywhere to go." I shrugged. "Not my problem." And then, the final blow. I already filed for divorce. Her mouth fell open. "Wait. I spoke to a lawyer the day after I caught you. Since we don't have kids, and the house is mine, you're walking away with nothing." I paused, letting it sink in. "Actually, less than nothing, because you're unemployed now, too." She collapsed, just crumpled onto the floor, sobbing, begging, saying she'd change. I didn't care. I grabbed her a small duffel bag and threw some of her clothes into it. "You have 1 hour to get whatever you need. After that, I'm changing the locks." She looked at me like I was a monster. Maybe I was, but I didn't feel like one. I felt free. She left that night. I have no idea where she went, and I don't care. Her affair partner? Last I heard, his wife took everything in the divorce. He lost his house, his kids, and probably his dignity. As for me, I moved on, took a well-earned vacation, focused on myself, and damn, does it feel good. So yeah, moral of the story? If you're going to betray someone, at least be smart about it. And to everyone reading, subscribe for more. Because life hands you the best revenge stories. And trust me, I've got plenty more where this came from.